Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2022 and a brand new season here on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden, joined as always in our mobile studio here with David Cole. This is episode 31 of the EKN OutLap. Of course, our OutLap podcast previews of an upcoming EKN Trackside live event. And the event we'll be talking about throughout the day today, the opening round of the 2022 Superkarts USA Winter Series. It is January the 4th. It is a Tuesday. We roll on Thursday to head down to Homestead, Florida. Looking forward to what should be a fantastic start to the 2022 season. Again, these podcasts absolutely perfect for the morning commute, coming home from work, whatever it may be, or if you're in the shop working on the cart, getting it ready for the new season. Flick us on the EKN Radio Network, or once we get to podcast format, download it as a podcast. Perfect for driving in the car on the way to work or coming home. This edition of the EKN OutLap presented by Trinity Karting Group. Trinity Karting Group is your first step on the ladder to racing success. Based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, they literally have a track in their backyard and a controlled environment to develop your skills. Trinity Karting Group flattens out the steep learning curve with a professional staff that will put you on the right path. The focus is driver development, and they compete at the local, regional, and national levels, including the SCUSA Pro Tour and the United States Pro Kart Series. They have new and used packages available, and they are your Midwest source for Kart Republic chassis and IAME engines. Visit them at teamtkg.com or call 513-421-4463. All right, DC, we fire off 2022. Big shout out to Trinity Karting Group again for signing back up as one of our platinum partners. Great to have them on board with us as they have been for the last number of years. But, dude, it's time. Man, it's been a month since we've been down at the Super Nationals in Las Vegas. We got to roll through Christmas and New Year's. But pack the suitcase, man. We're going to Florida.
Yeah, tomorrow would be exactly 1 month since Super Sunday that we've been trackside and getting ready to be trackside here on this Friday at Homestead for the opening round of the Superkarts USA Winter Series. No off season, quick holiday, and it's almost like the European the month of August off. That's kind of what it felt like, or that's all we get. And now and really a lot of people didn't take that month off because they were in Florida racing at a couple other events this past week, including the WKA Daytona Kart Week and then Cup Karts North America Winter Nationals at Jacksonville. So a lot of racing already. 2 events underway for the 2022 season. This will be number 3, and we're not even into 10 days into 2022.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that there's already a number of events in Florida? Again, obviously WKA Kart Week, a long-standing race at the Daytona International Speedway, and of course Cup Karts North America launching their Winter Nationals to add to their Spring Nationals and their Grand Nationals. I know about you, David. I got a couple of long weekends. That's pretty much what I had for holidays. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday around Christmas, and the same around New Year's Eve. Other than that, man, it was in the office between those 2 weekends.
Yeah, gearing up for what is going to be another exciting season in karting. And again, we're kicking everything off at the Superkarts USA Winter Series, AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex, presented by MG Tires in Homestead, Florida. The weather is looking beautiful. It's going to be 80s all 3 days. There's nothing better than that when you get down to Florida.
That is awesome. I actually really I should have looked myself. Any chance of rain? Or they talk? Because of course it's Florida, right? You never know.
Yeah, I mean, there's the percentages are very low, so that's a positive. Anywhere between 5 and 10%, because again, you always could have those pop-up showers that do occur in the state of Florida. But as of right now, no, it looks like it's going to be perfect weather all weekend long.
Oh, talk to me. It'll be absolutely perfect because it's cold here in Cambridge, Ontario right now. I'll tell you that. It's unbelievable. David, let's we'll obviously jump into some event notes, but again, for those of you who don't know about the Superkarts USA Winter Series, 2 weekends, 4 events, both double headers, of course. 5th season for the championship, though, David, started back in 2018.
Yeah, it began as kind of a traveling series, but it's really found a home at the AMR Motorplex with the opportunities to utilize 2 different track layouts. Mind you, it's just different directions that they do utilize. But again, it provides a unique challenge and an opportunity for teams to kind of have a home during the 2 months. So, and really it's a month stretch, because once you're done with the second event in February, and then it's moving forward to wherever else you need to compete and travel to. So Yeah, it's fifth season, and again, it's continuing to build momentum, and this is certainly a bigger pre-entry total, and we'll get talked about that later than what we had in the last two events of last year.
Yeah, spinning off obviously a very strong Super Nationals in Vegas. A lot of momentum for SCUSA. But again, as we dive into this preview, we're going to look at some of the categories, what the highs, what are some of the lows. David, let's jump into some event notes right now. The track this particular weekend, running 7/10 of a mile, 11 turns, will run in the counterclockwise direction. Those of you may not know about the AMR Homestead Miami Motorplex. It's located just outside the Homestead Miami Speedway. It's a parking lot there, essentially outside what I guess the front straightaway, right? I think at that particular track. It's been around a long time. It's been around since 1996. I actually drove, I want to say it was 2000 or 2001 when I raced as an S3 rookie shifter kart guy there in the SCUSA Winter Tour back then, the Florida Winter Tour. It was good times back then. Track really hasn't changed that much. It's pretty much the same layout that we ran at that time as well. But now, though, owned by the Vantage Karting Group, bought back in June of 2017.
They have done some updating since we were there last year for the Winter Series, and that's taken kind of place over November and December. They've updated a lot of the curbing around the racetrack, and especially the exit areas. They've included some grass sections and instead of cement for runoff areas, and obviously the exit curbing. Again, trying to keep everybody within the track limits of the AMR Motorplex circuit.
Give us a little rundown, David, of the event schedule. I know practice happening on Wednesday and Thursday, unofficial running by the track. But what are we looking at in terms of the event schedule for the opening round of the Winter Series?
We'll be trackside Friday, and that offers 5 rounds of practice, 4 7-minute sessions, along with a 12-minute session at the end of the day to kind of help everybody gear up for the race weekend. Again, 2 rounds of racing, 1 round contested on Saturday. That includes a warm-up qualifying pre-final of 12 laps, 10 for the cadet divisions, and then the finals will be 22 laps and 20 laps for cadets. Then we do it all over again on Sunday with the same format for round 2, which will be the qualifying, pre-final, and final format. So again, 2 rounds of racing sets up for as we talked about, the 4-round championship program that will be the SCUSA Winter Series. Yeah,
looking forward to it. A great track in my mind in terms of raceability. There are a lot of places to pass in this racetrack. You can hound somebody, and that's a couple of long runs into hairpins, which are key. You've got to be, if you block, you're going to get the over under, which is good. There's a cool constant radius infield section, kind of the bowl, not so much a bowl, but a double right. On the way we're going counterclockwise, it'll be a double right-hander, really tough on the body, which is great. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've done to the racetrack, updating those curbing and the exit areas, as David had mentioned.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the curbing was done to kind of help alleviate the pain and suffering for the drivers, because nearly every corner you were hitting a curb,
beating people up.
Yeah, and just beating people up. So now they're the kind of curbs that you don't want to hit. So they're there to kind of outline the racetrack, which we'll see. I'm sure there'll be drivers that'll be using them in certain scenarios, certain passing opportunities. But it'll be interesting to see the actual lines that the competitors are taking around the updated circuit.
Time for our first break in the action. This edition of the EKN OutLap, episode 31 of our preview podcast. Again, January the 4th. Rob Howden and David Cole here with you. Thanks for tuning into us here on the EKN Radio Network of the podcast. When we get back after this break, we're going to go by the numbers. We'll let you know exactly what we're looking at in terms of pre-entries going in to this weekend's event. If the dream is IndyCar, set your target on the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. Our ladder system is designed to take drivers through 3 runs of competition. The first step is the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, which features a carbon tub Tatis chassis, 180 horsepower, and a paddle shift sequential gearbox. Boost the USF 2000's output to 250 horsepower for the Indy Pro 2000 program, the second rung on the road to Indy. Add in increased grip and more aero downforce, and the Tatis PM18 becomes an incredible training machine. The final step before IndyCar is the Indy Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires. The Dallara IL-15 boasts a whopping 450 horsepower. This car itself has trained so many drivers in the IndyCar Series. At all 3 levels, you race at premier venues on the same dance card as IndyCar. Showcase your skills under the watchful eyes of IndyCar scouts and owners. The program is unprecedented around the world, offering the opportunity to climb the ladder with over $2 million in scholarships to the champions in USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, and Indy Lights. Former karters fill the roster of Road to Indy graduates in IndyCar, like Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, Connor Daly, Jack Harvey, Felix Rosenquist, Colton Herta, Ed Jones, Charlie Kimball, Dalton Kellett, and Renus VK. Follow in their footsteps. If you want to race IndyCar, there is only one choice: the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network and the 31st episode of the EKN OutLap, our first podcast of the 2022 season. My name is Rob Howden, again joined by David Cole as we preview the upcoming Superkarts USA Winter Series opener. David, back in 2021, 201 entries as we rolled into Homestead, 218, a nice little improvement, almost 10% improvement working into the start of this year. Let's have a look at by the numbers, anything that really steps out for you in terms of the amount of drivers we have in each one of the categories.
Well, it's something we talked about last year, and it's been the growth of the cadet divisions. I mean, we're going to come into the opening weekend with 71 pre-registered in micro and mini. I think that, wow, that's a massive increase from last year alone. And we saw growth, throughout the year in big numbers and all the different events that we attended, and the cadet divisions were one of them. So we really do have a kind of a youth movement going on right now in the sport of karting, where, there's just a lot of kids that are involved in the motorsports and especially in karting. So it's great to see those numbers so large, because that's going to be our future in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, only 2 of the categories actually dropping down from what we had a couple of years ago. One of them being X30 Junior, which drops from 34 pre-entries to 32. That's only 2 people, 2 drivers. Obviously, we always end up getting late entries at track entries. The other is the pro shifter category from 7 down to 4. We'll get into the pro shifter in a little bit here. But as David mentioned, the cadet class is 33 drivers in micro, up 3. Mini Swift 38 up significantly, 13 up. But David, you don't want to jump too much on the fact, hey, wow, Mini Swift is massive. There's always the ebbs and flows of the graduations, right? A lot of drivers graduating up from micro into mini, but the fact that they're replaced to have micro with 33, that's great for both of those cadet classes. But 38 in the Mini Swift class, pretty strong for this opening round of the Winter Series.
Yeah, it's good to see, the rest of the category stagnant, not too much drop, you're not going to see too much growth, and as you said, Mini Swift was the big growth, and that kind of helps the 17 more entries than what we had last year. So a lot of it's coming from the Mini Swift division. Again, really the only question mark is the shifter categories. And it's like, do we need to have these shifter categories at the Winter Series? It's, you have 9 total between the 2 categories. We just got off a huge, massive field of KZ and IAMI shifters in the pro shifter category at the Super Nationals, which was 50. Now, it is the Super Nationals that brings in all the big numbers, big names. A lot of the factories bring their drivers over from Europe. But, how can we grow these 2 categories, especially at the Winter Series? Because, again, even the Pro Tour, we ended with 30 in pro shifter at the Summer Nationals. So it's really kind of the focus on how do we grow these categories?
Yeah, as David mentioned, pro shifter only 4, master shifter just 5, so 9 shifters in total on the weekend. I'm sure they'll run them together on the racetrack and score them separately, obviously. But yeah, David, I don't know. Superkarts USA is an organization that was founded on shifter kart racing. That's what it is. Superkarts has always been gearbox racing, and I'm sure that Tom Kutcher is the same way. When he got into the sport back in the late 90s, it was all about the draw of shifter kart racing. That's what got him into it. He fell in love with karting through shifter kart racing. So they obviously they don't want to let it die. I understand, hey, maybe we don't run it on the winter tour, winter series, but if you don't run it on the winter series, does it ever come back to the winter series, especially with such great numbers, as you said, at the Summer Nationals, awesome numbers at the Super Nationals as well. There's going to be a lot of talk. It's going to be a conversation, I think, sitting down with team owners and asking them, hey, why isn't there interest in this series? You know what? Like you said, maybe guys don't need to be running the winter tour. They just wait for the pro tour, whatever it may be. There's other opportunities to run shifters in other organizations right now. We'll see what the numbers look like in those organizations. Really, it's probably just a time to sit down and talk with team owners, right, Dave, and say, hey, listen, what can we do, or do we need to do anything to move this forward in this particular series?
Well, again, they are the more expensive categories of our sport. You look at Pro Tour, that's 3 weekends. You add in the Super Nationals, that's 4. So if you add in the 2 Winter Series programs, that's 6 weekends alone just at the national level for your shifter kart program. So maybe drivers aren't interested in doing that many events. With obviously the KZ engine platform is kind of taking over the pro shifter division, and it's not an affordable engine package to be running.
Yeah, you got to have the budget to run it for sure. Let's cap this off by the numbers by looking through a couple of the other categories. The X30 class looking strong, as David had mentioned, pretty much strong across the board from last year. X30 Junior with 32, just down a couple on pre-entries. X30 Senior 42, so essentially a full field there, up a couple from last year. And X30 Master, it hasn't been a super strong category in the SCUSA ranks over the last couple of years. 8 last year, up to 11 this year. Let's say they get a couple walk-ups, they'll be lucky. But otherwise, at least double digits for the Masters class, David, as we head in to the Winter Series. One of the key ones to me is KA100 Junior. I kind of figured more numbers, but then going back at it, exactly the same as last year. 22 pre-entries in KA100 Junior, then 31 in KA100 Seniors. All told, 218 pre-entries.
Well, again, the KA100 Junior division is kind of a cross between national level racers and regional racers, and I'm gonna guess that a lot of regional racers are taking the opportunity to either sit the Winter Series out. We saw massive numbers at the Super Nationals. We've seen big numbers across the board all throughout the 2021 season in the KA100 Junior division. So again, kind of very similar to the shifter program. I think drivers are just taking the opportunity to all right, let's save up for the busy summer season that we're going to have and opt out of the Winter Series. But, again, 22, it's not a drop. So that's a good positive moving forward. And again, it provides the opportunity for some of those mini drivers moving up to get, their feet wet in junior competition. So we're obviously going to see that. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into our class previews.
All right, folks, there you go. That's the by the numbers. 218 pre-entries coming into the event. As we said, largest class, X30 Senior at 42. Stay with us. When we get back, we're going to hit on X30 Senior, KA100 Senior, and Pro Shifter. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Spec Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. And the all-new IgniteKarting.com website provides you with the information you need to fuel your passion for kart racing. Ignite Karting is a spec kart that features the Margay racing chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and a Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the junior, senior, and masters classes utilize the same Ignite K3 kart, which puts all the emphasis squarely on the driver. You can race the Ignite package from Margay at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for 2021 include the Ignite Majors, featuring events at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Quincy Grand Prix, and Newcastle Motorsports Park. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regional-based Ignite Challenge Series at tracks in Iowa, Missouri, Indiana, and Illinois. Local club programs have been established in Idaho, Texas, Nebraska, New York, Ohio, and Florida. All the information that you're looking for on events throughout the country and on all the Ignite kart packages, including dealers in your area, is available at IgniteKarting.com. Get off the couch and on the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, our first podcast of the 2022 season. My name is Rob Howden. David Cole, of course, joining me here in our online studio. The EKN OutLap, our preview podcast of this weekend's Superkarts USA Winter Series opener in Homestead. David, let's get rolling in here with X30 Senior. Kick us off here. Give us some of the information on X30 Senior.
X30 Senior is going to be a new champion. We will not have Ryan Norberg, who is the three-time defending champion, competing this year in the X30 Senior division. I spoke with Norberg earlier today. He's confirmed that he's not going to be racing the series. He'll be there with the Rollison Performance Group tent, driver coaching and doing various other activities under the tent. But there will be no helmets on Ryan Norberg for the SCUSA Winter Series. So we'll have a new champion this year.
Feels a little weird, doesn't it? He's a guy that,
it does.
He's become like just a standard. You just know he was going to be there. But I get it. You know what I mean? He's been there, done that. I've won the races. I've won the championships. He's a Super Nationals race winner now. Maybe you take it off a little bit. Maybe the Rawson guys go, hey, you know what? We'll save a bit of money not having to run you, but allow you to focus as well on the drivers under the tent. And that's one of the big reasons why Ryan Norberg's there.
Yeah, exactly. He's worked very well since moving over to RPG with the drivers that are under the tent, not only in the senior division, but junior divisions as well. And again, working with setups, working with engine tuning, doing all the little things that, help teams be as dominant as RPG has been over the last couple of years. So again, didn't score a victory last year, but ended up winning the championship. And none of we only have one former winner, Aaron Benoit, returning. Arias Dugmegian won twice last year. He will not be trackside, along with Connor Zillage as well, as he'll be busy with a car season in 2022. So we should see some new race winners on the weekend, and obviously a new champion as well.
Let's have a look at some of the drivers, David, you think are going to stand out. I know that, we have a number of junior drivers moving up into the senior category. We do have a couple of drivers internationally that we'll watch for. Of course, Mateus Morgado is back. Louis Westover as well, coming back to run here this weekend with the guys from Solo Kart USA, as he's done over the last couple of years. Louis has been very strong, knows the racetrack because he's been here before. And as I said, Morgado is pretty impressive. The Brazilian will be running for international racing on an Esprit this weekend. Any of the other, listen, I was going to say any of the other drivers stand out, but listen, it's 42 drivers in this field. I've highlighted a bunch of them. The big guns are all here, right? To race, to get out of here, which is awesome.
Yeah, you begin with SCUSA Pro Tour champion Hannah Greenmeyer. She's going to be carrying a 301 number. Obviously carried it at the Super Nationals, but now it's the regular season for the 2022 program. And so she'll have, again, the target on her back with the SCUSA number 1 plate on her RPG machine. You got to look at the Morgan brothers, Cole and Carson Morgan. Carson obviously making the move up to senior at the Super Nationals. So this will be his first Winter Series program as a now 6-time Pro Tour champion in the junior and cadet ranks. And then Cole Morgan coming in as the K100 senior champion. So they'll both be, I believe they're both doing double duty. So that'll be, those two will be among the top contenders in both categories.
Let me throw a couple of guys that I think really impressed at the Super Nats in the senior category, and really kind of got in there and were part of the discussion, the conversation for a race win. Those being Frankie Mossman and Thomas Nepfu, both those drivers, of course, running the Winter Series here. Thomas Nepfu, a race winner last year in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. He's confirmed that he'll be back in that program again in 2022. But again, he's back as well with Trinity Karting Group on that Kart Republic. But Frankie Mossman as well, David, for Bennick. Was really impressive, I thought, at the Super Nationals. Kind of a coming out party, I think, for Frankie to get right in the middle of the fight there as well. Rumors are that he may be going to the road to Indy as well. But I think, based on the momentum and the success he had in Vegas, Mossman could be a driver to watch here this weekend.
Yeah, that was pretty much his breakout performance. Yeah. That heat race, obviously things didn't shake out the way he wanted to on Super Sunday, but certainly put his name in the hat. And as you said, he's probably going to be one of those drivers that people will be watching when we get to the Friday practice. And other names to watch, again, Paulie Massimino, Jace Park, they've been kind of regulars at the front of the field as well. Yeah. Alessandro DiTurlo, a Florida, Miami driver. He knows this racetrack, really quick around there with Parolin USA. Nate Cicero is another one, again, coming off the momentum of that Rock Vegas victory. Didn't quite have the Super Nationals that he wanted to, but going back to where he won his first championship in KA100 senior division back in 2020, Nate Cicero at the SCUSA Winter Series. John Burke actually moving from PSL over to Super Tunes, so we'll see if that's reunion with that helps kind of spark a little speed under him as we kick off the Winter Series.
A couple more of the drivers who kind of stood out at the Super Nationals: Diego Conteca for Orsolon Racing and Danilo Ramalho for Racing Edge Motorsports. I think both of those drivers will be in the scrap as well. And I'll throw another one out here that I think is going to be a lot of fun to watch, David. You mentioned junior drivers moving up. He's already made his debut as a senior. It's not actually coming this weekend, but double winner at the Super Nationals, Jeremy Fletcher, jumping up the driver on the Tony Kart. It'll be his first SCUSA race as a senior driver. And I think I'm looking forward to see how he handles having new guys around him, right? A lot of guys with maybe a little more experience in terms of the senior level.
Yeah, especially in the X30 senior division. He'll be doing double duty. So he'll get that full weekend of racing both in X30 senior and K100 senior to help, get acclimated to racing against the top drivers in the country at the senior level. Other rookie drivers making the move to senior: Noah Baker, Paul Bocuse. Where'd the other one go? You already said Fletcher. I thought there was another one. So those are some other names that are of drivers moving up to the senior ranks.
I love it. This is one of the cool things about the Winter Tour races and the Winter Series races is that you get to see these guys making that big move. Some of them do it at the Super Nats. Others wait till the start of the season. And it's always fun to see how the junior drivers moving up to senior will fare. David, let's go into the KA100 senior class, 31 entries in total. You mentioned the fact that Arias Duke Medjian, of course, last year's champion, not here. And talking to Arias, potentially going to Italian F4 next year. That's what he's told me. We'll see how that plays out. Last year's winners included Brandon Lemke and Thomas Annunziata, along with Duke Medjian, who won twice last year in the 4-race series. Here's the thing, though. No former champion or 2021 winners in the field. That opens things up a little bit, does it not?
It certainly does, with, as you said, Duke Medjian not going to be there. No Brandon Lemke this year as well. And then Annunziata is going to be a no-show as well. I think he's kind of focusing on other programs as well, too. So that's going to be so we're going to probably have our fourth different champion in the K100 senior division where, X30 senior, we're going to finally have another different champion other than Norberg, and then Lorenzo Travisanato, who won in 2018. So a lot of new stuff in the senior divisions as we head to Homestead for the opening round of 2022.
Based on what they were able to do with the Supernats, David, you put a lot of focus and the spotlight potentially on Carson and Cole Morgan?
Oh, without a doubt. It was almost, aside from Annunziata, they were the top. They were the top two drivers. Both were qualified first and second and won multiple heat races. And again, you just never know on Super Sunday. Unfortunately, things didn't shake out their way in that wild, dramatic last lap that we saw on Super Sunday. So, but again, Cole Morgan's the defending Pro Tour champion in the category, while Carson is the defending KA100 junior champion, along with X30 junior champion as well. So I got to put those two as they'll probably be able to kind of work together and get away from everybody. That would be my game plan if I was the team manager for them.
Well, if there's a working together as well, look at a pretty strong group of the drivers coming out of the Trinity Karting Group camp as well under that tent, right? You've got both Finnegan, Gavin, Bailiff, throw in Tyler Wettengel as well. All those drivers have spent a lot of time on this KA100 package. I think all three of those guys will be in the fight for a race win before it's all said and done.
Yeah, interesting to have two sets of brothers competing in the same category as we do with the Bailiffs and the Morgans. And, Gavin's coming off victory at the WK Kart Week in the KA100 senior division. So he's got that momentum. And again, they've been showing really well in the 100cc category under the Trinity tent.
Yeah, let's look at some other drivers that should be strong for PSL karting. Aiden Rudolph will be in the game as well. Nicholas Terlecki for Franklin Motorsports. He's ready to come racing. Chase Hand, one of the drivers, David, moving up from junior to senior. What do you think about Chase Hand making that jump up after really is only his first full year running nationally?
Yeah, both Aiden Rudolph and Chase Hand moving up from the junior category to senior. Aiden's going to be moving over to PSL karting under the Burrell Art on the Burrell Art chassis, while Hand remains under the Rollison Performance Group tent. So, and again, we've seen, we saw Chase's development all throughout last year, and we saw Aiden improve at the end of 2021. So, they can both carry that momentum into the senior ranks. And again, it's kind of a perfect storm because, again, the Morgan brothers are really the only dominant drivers that are going to be probably in this field. So it provides them the opportunity to try and be up front right away. Like you said, Terlecki is going to be another name that you'll see up front. Mm-hmm. Wettengale will be another one. Josh Holtz.
Josh. Yep.
If he can get the setup the right way, he'll be there. Connor Ferris was another driver that was really fast throughout 2021. I expect him to be among the contenders on the weekend.
Yeah, I agree with that one for sure. I don't think we've mentioned Jeremy Fletcher yet. You talked about him doing double duty, but Fletcher, of course, that double winner at the Supernats, running both X30 junior, X30 senior and KA100 senior. So I think Fletcher's going to be right in there. I think his mindset and the way he approaches things, I think he'll be right in it.
Yeah, he could probably be one of the lead contenders for the Morgan brothers, be able to split them up. So that way it helps keep the field close. And again, K100 racing, we typically see large packs. So if you get one outsider in the middle of those two drivers, it could break things up and allow the rest of the field to keep close. So again, a lot of different scenarios could play out throughout the weekend. A lot of different drivers that could be in contention throughout the weekend.
Here's three more just that I'm looking at. Nick Bruckner, of course, coming off that great run at the Super Nationals, having come through the last chance qualifier. Gia Cicero has always been very quick down in Florida as well. She's had some great runs with Rollison Performance Group. I'm going to keep an eye on Mick Gabriel as well from AEM Karting. This guy's won a ton of four-cycle Briggs races over the last year and a bit, David, and he's coming in to run KA100 Senior. I like this.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to transition that success from Briggs to KA100. Yeah, certainly among the top drivers in the country in terms of Briggs senior racing. So good to see him kind of make that step up and to kind of put it to the national drivers. We'll see how he mixes in. Great to see Nick Bruckner coming back to the racetrack again. A great story at the Super Nationals. Made his way from the LCQ into the main event. Finished in I believe it was 10th. I believe he finished 10th.
I think he got into 10th when it was all said and done. Yeah, you're right.
So that'll be good to see. And again, kind of that mix of young drivers coming into the senior ranks, and then those who are looking to kind of make a stand as we again are looking to crown a new champion in the category.
All right, let's cap off this particular segment of this OutLap podcast. Again, Rob Howden and David Cole giving you a preview of the Superkarts USA Winter Series opener to start the 2022 season for SCUSA competition. David, let's jump into the pro shifter class, and it's going to be pretty quick because really only 4 drivers in total, one of them being one of the winningest drivers at the Super Nationals, being Billy Musgrave on his factory kart machine out of Riverside. We'll see if we get some more local entries coming in. But man, four entries in pro shifter. If you're Tom Kutcher in the crew at SCUSA, man, you're looking at that, just shaking your head, wondering what's going on.
Yeah, kind of how we talked about in the by the numbers. It's just kind of like what do we need to do to kind of entice people to be part of the winter series. Again, there's no racing in the north. And typically we could see a lot of Canadians. So really going through the entry list, there were not very many Canadians, if maybe 1 or 2. I think with Ingrata, I don't even think I saw his name in there. So Ingrata and Thomas Naveau from in the senior ranks. So again, I'm not sure what needs to be done, but you said Musgrave's going to make the trip from California to be part of it. Annie Rule is going to be one of the 2 Magic drivers in the field with Giano Torino, along with Alan Isambard, who is from West Palm Beach. So 2 local drivers, and then 2 drivers from outside of Florida. So not really sure again what we need to do, or is it just the fact that people don't want to be part of it, or what is going to bring people there? That's really the question.
That's it. That's a good question for sure. All right, let's go to another break in the action. When we get back, we'll talk about X30 Junior, KA100 Junior, X30 Master, and Master Shifter. Stay tuned. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer to winning in karting. At the helm is industry veteran Greg Bell, who has orchestrated the success of many drivers dating back to the mid-1990s. Based in Lodi, California, Leading Edge Motorsports is the Western importer with IP karting that includes the Praga and Formula K chassis brands. Leading Edge Motorsports provides in-depth driver development for those racers in Northern California and across the country. Arrive and drive services, kart preparation, and driver coaching are available under the LEM tent throughout the season. Bell's record of working with drivers includes recent victories at North America's biggest karting events, including the Rock the Rio and the SCUSA Super Nationals. Greg Bell's knowledge for building engines spans 2 decades and is now under the Mega Power branding, providing a reliable engine service and tuning knowledge. No matter the chassis brand, choose Mega Power to get to the front. Click over to leadingedgemotorsports.com for more and find them on social media to stay connected. At Leading Edge Motorsports, winning never gets old. You can buy all the latest and greatest products on the market, but when you're karting to win, it boils down to one thing: you, the driver. Gain the knowledge and abilities by investing in yourself at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and you'll find those extra tenths of a second you need to put yourself on the podium. The school was established by Superkarts USA Hall of Fame driver Alan Rudolph, with decades of victories and championships in multiple forms of the sport, including other disciplines of racing. The Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, located at the Speed Sports Racing Park in the metropolitan Houston area, is designed to teach driving skills at all levels. The instructors at the Academy have decades of racing experience and educating drivers of all ages. Classes at the Academy will teach the concepts and skills needed both behind the wheel and off the track. From the beginning kart racing experience and intro to karting courses, to their advanced 1-day and 2-day courses and karting clinics, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can improve the skills of any driver. For more information on the specific programs that the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can provide for you, head to speedsports.com and click on the Racing Academy page. Be sure to follow the Academy on social media by searching for Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Welcome back to our first podcast of the 2022 season. It's the OutLap podcast, our preview of the upcoming Superkarts USA Winter Series opener in Homestead this coming weekend. It's January the 4th. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole in our online studio. David, let's kind of jump in here on the X30 Junior class. 32 drivers in total. Should be a pretty good battle in X30 Junior.
Yeah, it should be. Again, solid field. That's one thing we were questioning how the fields were going to be coming off the Super Nationals, but to be able to be kind of around the same number as we had last year will be certainly good to see. And again, X30 Junior, a lot of competitive drivers in this field. One not on the entry list and probably still healing from recent arm surgery. Kai Sorensen, last year's X30 Junior Series champion. Sorensen not in the field, and then along with the other three winners from last year, Jeremy Fletcher, Leonardo Hassan, and Paul Bocuse, they've all graduated up to the senior ranks. So again, this is another category where we're probably going to have, or we will have, a new champion as long as Kai Sorensen does not show up come Friday morning.
But it's interesting because the Florida Winter Tour Series and of course the Winter Series here with Superkarts USA have been a place for some. We've watched these drivers battle each other, kind of coming up through the ranks, right? And I'll just throw three names out here, and literally I think we watched the race in micro, and then mini, and now in junior, and that's Caleb Gaffera, Max Garcia, and Mateus Orjuela. They literally been scrapping each other out in the classes. They've been jumping up through, and now they're into the junior class. And those are three drivers I think will be ones to watch. You still throw Aiden and Grada in there as well, for sure, for speed concepts. But Caleb Gaffera, now running with Rawlison Performance Group, joined them late last year. Had a really strong run at the Super Nats. Of course, Max Garcia with Will Power Kart. Obviously his home track. And then again, as I mentioned, Mateus Orjuela with the factory team for Parallel USA. I think those three drivers are going to go at it. You throw Salim Hanna in there with Team Montoya. You throw Aiden and Grada. To me, those are the graduating drivers that I expect to be battling it out. But again, we'll talk about the guys that are moving up from mini. But those, I think, are the five drivers probably that'll fight for race wins.
Yeah, Gaffar and Garcia have a year under their belt already in the junior ranks. Obviously, Garcia as the Pro Tour vice champion in his rookie campaign, so a solid effort. Gaffera actually was the FIA Academy Trophy driver, so he had his summer months over in Europe. So that kind of took away the opportunity to run for championships here in the USA. Orjuela is kind of one step back. He just moved. He's just now moving up into the junior ranks. Yeah. He was the SCUSA Winter Series champion last year in the Mini Swift division. And again, was among the top cadet drivers in Europe, and when he did campaign over there. And then when he did come over here, he kind of kicked everybody's butt in the Mini Swift division as well, too, both at USPKS programs and other events as well. So, I expect to see Orjuela lead the rookie junior drivers in this field for sure. Garcia and Gaffera among the top contenders, but Ingrata, he's kind of gotten that. He's now the veteran of this group.
He is
with the a couple years under his belt. Was racing for championships all throughout 2021. So again, Ingrata probably going to be the elder of the class as we go into the weekend.
Yeah, it's his time, right? He's spent his time in these junior categories. Got that first tough year. Last year, like you said, was in the middle of a lot of race win fights and won a lot of races. And I think this will be a great year for Aiden to potentially run at some championships. Let's look at some of the other drivers, David, coming in. The cool factor is there is some drivers coming up from Mini with really solid resumes who are going to try to follow in Orjuela's footsteps, or follow in with Orjuela and follow in the footsteps of Garcia and Gaffera to try to work their way into junior.
Yeah, one of them being Enzo Vidmontien, last year's SCUSA Pro Tour and USPKS Mini Swift champion, coming in with a solid resume from his cadet season, making the jump up to junior. That's going to be, again, some drivers get it quickly. Some drivers need a full season under their belts. He's actually going to be doing just X30 Junior, so he's going to focus on that category alone. So that might help or hurt him. We'll see. We'll see as he progresses how quickly he becomes accustomed to the full size kart.
What about Sebastian Weldon as well? I expect him to be right in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, I got a year under his belt of national racing at the junior level. Among those that contended for podiums here and there, ran double duty, both KA 100 junior and X30 junior. He's going to be just focusing on the X30 junior category this weekend, not registered for the KA 100 junior division. So kind of put all his chips into the X30 junior division. And again, that's kind of, he's got that full season under his belt now. So he, along with Ingrata, are probably the more experienced drivers in the field in the junior ranks.
Yeah, one driver I know we cannot ignore for sure would be Brandon Carr from Great Britain. The Englishman will be strong for sure. I think Michael Costello probably in the fight as well. Would you agree with me on there?
Yeah, interesting. Car racing under the PSL tent on the Burrell Art. So we've seen him race, I believe it was the Bennick when he came over with Micro. So working with PSL karting and Burrell Art along with Fusion, making that combination there. Again, G3 Argyros, he's got a year under his belt. We'll see if he's able to kind of improve. You mentioned Salim Hanna. I think, the Super Nationals was kind of a breakout for Salim.
Yeah.
And again, another driver who is racing at the Academy Trophy. So got that international experience and is hoping to bring that over to the U.S. And, other than that, there are probably going to be a couple other names that pop up throughout the weekend that we kind of weren't expecting to.
Yeah, I'll look at Rodrigo Seabra as well. Seabra was strong at the Super Nationals. He's already over in Florida getting things dialed in. But otherwise, X30 Junior, I think it's just going to be a really good category. 32 drivers in total. We talked about the drivers who were into their third year of junior, those into their second year. We'll see what they're able to do. I think they're going to come out of the gate strong. How will the rookies do? That's something that we'll, of course, attack when we get trackside at Homestead. David, let's move to the KA 100 junior class. 22 drivers in total. Obviously, Chase Hand winning the championship last year. He's moved on to senior. That's going to open things up for a couple more drivers.
Yeah, so another category. This one will have a fourth different champion when everything is all said and done. As this class joined the Winter Series back in 2019. Santiago Biaggi was the inaugural champion. Antonelli was the champion in 2020. And then, as you said, Chase Hand, last year's champion, he's moving up to senior. So that opens the door for a fourth different champion. And some notable names that we'll see. Austin Jers was third in the Pro Tour Championship. So he's among the veteran drivers in the field. Caleb Graffer going to run the KA 100 junior category. So he's going to double dip. He'll be one of the few drivers that'll be racing in both junior categories. So we haven't seen. I don't think we've seen him run the KA 100 junior division yet. So it's either been. It was right into the X30 junior division, from what I recall.
Yeah, two-time winner last year as well. David Colin Lloyd moving up to the senior category. So again, opening a lot of things. You mentioned Gaffera. You mentioned Austin Jers. Luke Welcome was a winner last year. I have a feeling that he knows this racetrack. He's a local driver from Miami, so I would expect him to come out really strong from the very get-go. And then maybe let's throw some spotlight at Reagan Seville as well for PSL karting, one of Alan Rudolph's drivers at a Speed Sports racing park down in Houston. The Burrell Art driver, I think, will be pretty good as well in terms of fighting in the top 10, top 5.
Another name to add in, Adam Brickley, joining Trinity Karting Group, made his debut with them at the WK Kart Week event. I believe finished in the third podium position, one of the 2 days in Daytona. So kind of gotten a quick accustomed to the Kart Republic and the TKG group there. So making the move with them at the SCUSA Winter Series. So he could be one that could be battling for podiums as well. I'm looking at the entry list again. Some other names that will probably pop up throughout the weekend that we haven't mentioned. So again, a lot of different names that will probably be calling, that you'll probably be calling as the action goes on throughout the weekend at AMR Motorplex.
Yeah, when you got drivers moving up like we have this year, this is really our first look to see who is going to be strong as a maybe a graduating driver. Did you get settled right in? Are you not feeling any anxiety? Are you not intimidated at all? You're right in the middle of the fight. That's something we're going to see this weekend at Homestead. And it's going to help give us a look at kind of how things are going to play out when we go national racing later in the year. David, let's go to X30 Masters right now. 11 drivers in total in the X30 Masters category. Driver came in last year and flat dominated. In fact, I want to say that I was trying to pull stats out while I was announcing it in the Masters category. But Renato Jader David, I want to say he had won some kind of ridiculous number, like 10 of the last 11 races or something like that. I don't see him on the lineup for this year, but he was the champion last year.
Yeah, I was able to reach him today prior to the show. Renato taking the year off from the SKUSA Winter Series. Not quite sure if he's going to even do the Florida Winter Tour as well. So kind of taking a little bit of a break from the racing right now. And to complete your stats, he went 11 straight at the SKUSA Winter Series, winning 13 of the 16 main events over the 4-year history of the program to win all 4 championships. So I had that note here sitting on the side. I didn't put it in the script. I wanted to be able to give that to you.
You didn't come to the very first race last year, did you? I think I came by myself. I didn't go to the second one, but I'm pretty sure that I was texting you or you were texting me while I was announcing, right? Giving me the update on exactly how many races he had won.
Yeah, it's amazing, to be there and to have a streak like that. 11 straight victories at one program, certainly amazing. And then again, 13 of 16 wins over a 4-year span, outrageous. And it was great to see him and its team celebrate that kind of that momentous occasion last year at the series finale. Yeah,
agreed. I think one of the drivers, of course, to watch out for will be Mario Barrios, who's running with Rawlson Performance Group, SKUSA Pro Tour champion. He's not in with Rawlson.
I do not believe he is, but
he didn't. That's what I have on the entry list. Well, that's right. He ran with Ryan Perry Motorsports, did he not?
Correct,
at Supernets.
Yeah, I don't believe he's going to be at Rawlson, but I could be wrong.
All right, I can throw a quick text out there. We'll find out.
That's something I missed in the script program, but yeah, he'll be among the front runners. And again, it's really a state of Florida competition, really, aside from one driver or two drivers, really, because one from Brazil doesn't reside in Florida. That's Danilo Ramalho. And then another driver from New York. Aside from that, all the rest of them reside in the state of Florida.
Copy. So a bunch of local drivers. So we'll look for Barrios, look for Dan Breitenstein to be quick, I would expect. And again, Luis Schiavo, always very strong, a very talented driver, former champion in the Star Mazda Championship back many years ago.
Great. Yeah. Great to see him back in the kart. It's been a couple of years. He was a former Team USA driver at the Rotax Grand Finals. So great to see him back.
So he could be the guy, one of the guys to beat for sure. Schiavo, very, very strong. Let's move into the Master Shifter class. Like the category we just talked about, Pro Shifter, not a lot of drivers in the Masters class. Indeed, only 5 making the call. And as you said, David, there's literally, I think, 3 drivers from Florida, 1 from Bermuda, and 1 from Indiana.
Yeah, and Bermuda, Sketchy Barnes, who ended up finishing second in last year's championship, along with the Pro Tour championship, won one of the races last year. He actually is in Florida right now at his I guess his winter home. I guess you could call it
essentially, yeah.
Essentially that. So he's gotten a bunch of racing in. Just won at the Daytona Kart Week in the 206 Masters division with an Marga Ignite kart. So he's certainly got the winning momentum kicked off early for the 2022 season. So he'll be going, and if I recall, he's on a TB kart, not an Intrepid. Again, a lot of drivers don't update their motorsports reg information. So some of the stuff we do have is a little bit outdated because drivers do not update their information.
Update your information.
So go update your information. Exactly. He should be on a TB kart as he was at the Super Nationals. Yep. There'll be another TB kart racing against him with Farshad Bagheri of TB Kart USA. So that could be a good battle. Along with Patro Otto Madsen with Ansa Motorsports. I believe he'll be on the Formula K. Showed pretty well at the Super Nationals, but I think Barnes was just a little bit ahead of him when the checker flag waved on Super Sunday. So
and Madsen's got a lot of time on that racetrack. That's where they base Ansa Motorsports out of their karting program. So he has a lot of time at Homestead. So I think he's going to be really strong.
Yeah, it sets the bar for Barnes. He's got 2 drivers who have been at Homestead a lot of times. he'll be able to kind of gauge where he's at, and it should be a good fight, even though there's only 5 drivers in the field.
Yeah, last year it was Skitchy Barnes versus Freddie Remrev, and Remrev not running this year. So 5 drivers should be a good battle, like you say. We'll have a couple different fights because Pro Shifter and Master Shifter, I'm assuming, will run together. So we'll have a potential scrap in the Pro class and a potential scrap in the Masters class as well. That caps off this particular segment of this OutLap podcast. We get back, we'll wrap it all up with Mini Swift and Micro Swift. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the US, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Esprit chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Ruck Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at www.franklinkart.com, where all our products are just a mouse click away. We're constantly adding to the growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, ceramic products, driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, OTK products, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Welcome back to the final segment here on this edition of the OutLap, episode 31 of this particular podcast, January the 4th, as we begin the 2022 season. My name is Rob Howden. David Cole alongside me here in the online studio, and we get set to head to the first race of the season. Both of us heading down to Florida on Thursday. David, we'll wrap things up with a couple of big categories. Let's go to Mini Swift right now. 38 drivers in total, and defending champion Mateus Arguela, as you had already detailed, has graduated to junior, so we'll see a new champion there as well.
We will see a new champion. Again, that's kind of the theme in the of the 2022 SCUSA Winter Series. Arguela was able to win twice last year to secure the championship. Other winners last year include Enzo Vidmontien, who we already mentioned is moving up to the junior ranks. The other winner, Oliver Weldon, who's going to remain in the Mini Swift division. He is registered, but just saw on social media this weekend he was involved in an incident and has a broken wrist. So I would not expect to see him competing this weekend in the Mini Swift division.
Yeah, tough one for Oliver. I know he was fired up and ready to go again into that another year in Mini, trying to go for those race wins and championships. Tough one for him for sure. But it does open it up, David. And again, as we do, we get the entry list. I start highlighting drivers in yellow that I think, you know what, these are guys I could be talking about, guys or girls, especially more ladies in this field. Dude, there's a lot of people to watch in this like there's a lot of yellow when it comes to Mini Swift, because there's so many great drivers that could step up here. It's just, you go up and down. It's so many of the drivers who were in the hunt at Supernats are ready to do it again here at the Winter Series.
Well, do you want me to start first? So
fire one up.
Okay.
Who do you want to start
with?
Well,
the first one I'm going to say probably has the most experience in the Mini Swift division. A Canadian, Jensen Burnett. He'll be racing with Parolin USA once again for the SCUSA Winter Series. Does a lot of international racing. Won the Rock Cup Super Final event this past year as well in Italy. Yep. So I got to say he's probably one of the leading contenders going into the weekend. That has been in the category before. I mean, I'm not talking about the rookies just yet.
Yeah, I know, right?
Carson Weinberg, another veteran of the Mini Swift division as well. So those two are probably the more experienced going into the weekend, aside from Oliver Weldon, who is still listed, but probably questionable regarding his competition status depending on his injury. But man, the amount of mini rookies that we are going to have in this field is phenomenal.
That's it. Let's kick. Who do you start with? Probably Keelan Harvick, right? This the guy was one of the dominant micro drivers last year.
Well, he's already got 3 wins to start the 2022 season off with 3 victories in Daytona, 2 of them in the Briggs category and 1 in the Mini Swift division. So he's already got 1 under his belt. He was able to beat out Isaac Malkut in the in one of the races, with Malkut winning the other. So he already got a mini race under his belt, a mini victory under his belt. So he's among the top rookies. Tristan Murphy, who finished 3rd in last year's Micro Swift Pro Tour Championship, along with the 2021 champion Gianmatteo Rousseau. Yep. They're moving up to mini as well. So you got to think that's they're going to be among those in contention. The Tovo brothers, Ethan Tovo and Jackson Tovo, they've been up front all season long in the Micro Swift division.
Well, and listen, and Ethan Tovo coming off all that momentum from the Supernats. Like he was on the pole and qualifying and was in the fight the entire time. Talk about a great springboard for Ethan to be able to jump into Mini.
Yeah, Pathan Sirapan, another driver making the move up from micro, along with Lucas Palacio, who's won in the micro division. So he's probably going to be the youngest mini driver in the field, making the move after just 1 year in micro to the Mini Swift division. So a number of different drivers that are making the jump up.
Here's the ones I'll throw out as well. Sarah Bradley, I think, will be good. Another year in this mini category. Max Christia making the jump up to mini as well. What about Asher Osteen? Here's a guy with some experience on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, he's got a full year of Mini Swift under his belt already. So you're looking at probably easy 15 drivers that could be in contention for victory this weekend.
And last but not least, Marco Romero was top 10 at both the Rock Cup, Rock Vegas event, and I believe the Super Nationals as well. So I think Romero will be a guy to watch. So again, there's so much yellow on my spreadsheet in this category.
You missed one that you picked. I believe you picked this driver for the Super Nationals was Luis Umana.
Oh, did I pick Umana?
I thought you picked Umana as one of your dark horses in the Mini Swift category.
I have to scroll back and look at that one. Like I said, there's so much yellow, and this, it's just unbelievable. It's such a good field. But yeah, a lot of guys with a chance to win here, folks. As you said, Orjuela has moved up, so he will not defend his championship. He's gone to junior. So this will be a really cool fight, David, because the quality of the micro drivers who have graduated to mini is so strong. We've had a lot of mini drivers graduate to junior as well. I really think mini is going to be wide open.
It's going to be the one to watch on the fence. That's going to be, I think, that along with KAs and X30 seniors, X30 junior as well. So this is going to be one to watch. So
let's go to Micro Swift right now. We talked about this massive amount of drivers that have graduated up from micro. So many of the top drivers from that category. That leaves things wide open for micro. And David, we see this happen a lot, right? Where some, top 5 or 6 from micro move up, and it's brand new, right? Because guys are trying to get out of micro into mini. If you look at, there are obviously some guys I think that would be easy for us to put our names on here as well. But like you said, Keelan Harvick graduates to mini. Augustus Toniolo graduated to mini at the Supernats, and we don't see Toniolo in the field here this weekend. So things are wide open. What drivers from micro do you think we should be watching?
I got 5 listed right now. I'll just go with 5 to start off, and I'll let you end.
And I got 6. So let's see how it plays out.
I'll start at the bottom. I'll go with Alessandro Truchot. He's got a full season in the Micro Swift division under his belt. Was among the top 5 contenders every weekend. So I think he's going to be one of the leading contenders going into the weekend.
Agreed.
Jackson Porter making the move from Arizona to the Winter Series. He's joining Team Bennick. He'll be. He was a Challenge in America's champion last year in the Micro Rock division. So he's coming over to contend for the SCUSA Winter Series title. I think he's going to be one to watch. Jackson Gibson under the Rollison Performance Group tent. He was one of my top 5 picks at the Super Nationals. Didn't quite get there, but again, showed really great development as the season went on, and that's why I picked him in the top 5. So I'm going to pick him as one of the top contenders this weekend, and then I'll throw in a driver who just won at the WK Kart Week in Daytona, Rocco Simeon with Motaz Sport.
It's probably Simone.
Simone, sorry, that's true. Yep. I can't say words. I can't.
Don't stress it, David.
Names.
Don't stress it.
Simone, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Simone. With Motaz on the Burrell Art coming off victory at Daytona. So I put him as one of them, along with Travis Pettit on solo kart. He actually finished on the podium one of the days behind Simone. So those are my 5 drivers.
I like it. The other one I would throw in here would be Ashton Woon. Ashton Woon out of Arizona on the night.
Did I miss him? Oh yeah, I didn't even see. I didn't scroll down that far. There he is. Yeah.
I would think he'll probably be in the fight as well. That's. And again, I think we're probably bang on with the drivers we expect to be right in the middle of it here.
Yeah, Woon has a lot of it raced everywhere throughout 2021. So yeah, I would put him probably with Truchot as the more experienced drivers in this field.
And by the way, I just got a text back from Mike Rollison. He says that Mario Barrios is underneath the Rollison Performance Group 10.
Oh, well, there you go.
So there you have it. So, folks, there you go. There's your lineup. David and I going through all the 9 categories that we'll have this weekend at the Superkarts USA Winter Series. Again, for us, it's that first race of the year. So many drivers graduating up from their categories, whether it be micro to mini, mini to junior, junior to senior. It really does play with the drivers we expect to see battling up front, because over the years we have seen some of the kids, our drivers, come in as a junior and be right in the middle of the fight. Connor Zilich, of course, being one of those drivers who had such a tremendous run last year. And of course, David had mentioned Connor going on to do a bunch of racing in cars this year, the Mazda MX-5 Cup. He'll also be driving some Trans Am races as well, which is awesome. But David, bottom line is we're getting ready to roll down, starting the new season. It will be trackside live coverage, all the coverage on the website. Everything will be rocking on social media as well. And I know that they haven't really announced it yet, but I'll also be announcing the weekend with Xander Clements on Kart Chaser. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be a different weekend for me for sure. Something I won't be used to. Yeah. We'll be providing a full, again, trackside coverage all weekend long. A lot of social media updates, videos, photos, interviews. We'll see what we can put together for Friday afternoon. Maybe do a little live happy hour with Howden. Possibly, we'll see if we can pull that off.
I like that idea.
Again, it'll be an action-packed weekend in Homestead, as we'll provide our first event of the 2022 season. Follow us on all social media platforms, and follow the hashtags of EKN at SCUSA Winter Series, along with hashtag AMR Motorplex.
That's it, folks. There is the run through everything that's going to be happening this particular weekend. We're looking forward to getting back at it and starting the 2022 season. This has been the first podcast, as well as you know, in our EKN Trackside live coverage. Everything we do throughout the weekend capped off by the debrief podcast that we will produce on Tuesday when we get back from Florida. We do appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, throughout this weekend should be some great stuff with live coverage coming from Kart Chaser on the weekend. This has been episode 31 of the EKN OutLap. Thank you so much for tuning into the EKN Radio Network. If you haven't downloaded the EKN Radio Network app, do so. We played with it a little bit at the Super Nationals. We are streaming live audio through the app. So if you're not able to watch online and you want to just hear it, maybe driving down the road, whatever it may be, download the EKN Radio Network app. We'll make sure to tune that back in once again. But, of course, ready to go trackside with all the coverage that we provide on ekartingnews.com. Folks, on behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.